Learning to golf and can't figure out where to start, what to buy, or how to play? Have you already started and you're struggling to get better? Are you pretty good already, but you're looking to fine tune some things? Well, this video is for all of you. Over the next hour and a half, we're going to dig in on anything and everything that you need to know to get better at golf in 2026. This is the complete guide that I wish I had when I started and was struggling to find tips on how to get better. Make sure to watch in order as we build up with each section. And save the video to look back on in the future. Welcome to the Golf Reboot Beta Golf Training Program. Comment workbook below if you haven't gotten a copy of yours yet so you can take notes as we go. In this video, we're going to talk about why many golfers never actually improve, what actually matters today, the golf improvement roadmap that we've built, and so many swing fundamentals. How to score better in practice, how often you should be working on different things, the proper golf mindset, equipment tips, and so much more. Every single piece of this video could single-handedly take strokes off of your game. Let's see what we can make happen when we put it all into effect. Hey everyone, I'm Doug with Golf Reboot. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Now, let's dig in. The 2026 golf reality, what actually matters. Golf's an old game. It's been played for centuries, but like everything else, it's evolved. Gone are the days of stuffed leather pouches for bowls, hickory and persimmon clubs, hitting it on the screws, and the weird outfits. Well, for some of us. Today, we have urethane elastomer balls, clubs made by science, and all the data you could want. The equipment has changed. You don't need to be perfect. You need a good base. With a good base, you can really change your game. That's why our focus at Golf Reboot is to build the basics and mechanics and then expand out. If you can set up well and swing, you can play golf. Once you can play golf, you can speed up and keep dialing it in. There's so much out there, you could search for hours and just be lost. So we're putting it all together in one video. I've gone through everything that I know and have learned and have spent hours and hours researching everything I could come up with. And now I've put it all together in this video for you. You can watch it all, check out some clips, save it and come back later. Old advice is different, but some of it still works. Some of the best golf I've ever seen is by players from the past. From Ben Hogan's iconic golf swing, Jack Nicklaus's iconic 1-iron at the 17th at Pebble Beach, all the way to more recent players like Rory's smoothness, Bryson's power, and then Tiger and Scotty's pure dominance. It's all special and something you can learn from. Much of the advice of past generations is still relevant in today's game. Swing the club head, not the club, or cracking the whip, is a great way for golfers to understand how the end of the club is really what matters. From impact to speed, that's where the magic happens. Turn in the barrel. You can't sway or slide if you're in a barrel. This is a huge component of having a quality swing, and rotation is where you unlock more power. Grip it like you're holding a tube of toothpaste. This helps you to hold the club the right way. It unlocks the ability to flip the club through impact. Without that, you won't fully lock in your game. Play the ball, don't let it play you. Learn to do what you can and not stress. Play the shot the smart way and don't make poor decisions. Your feet no more than your head. Balance and transfer is the key. If you can't master that, you're going to continually have issues with your mechanics and contact. Swing to your finish with a 3-second hold. This causes you to have balance. If you can't hold it for 3 seconds, your weight transfer isn't correct. Course management beats course strategy. You're playing yourself and the course. You need to learn to manage your shots and play smart. You can't beat the course by looking for hero shots. Play smart and you'll play well. Later, I'll show you how to practice less but improve faster. If you want to do that, comment free guide down below. We'll send you a link to our free practice guide that we built. It's what I use and I think it'll help you get better as well. Not everyone's going to go pro. Realistically, most of us aren't. But every single one of us can get a little bit better every single day. Let's see where we are today. When I started golfing in high school, I regularly struggled to break 65 on 9 holes. By senior year, I was usually breaking 90 on 18. I wasn't great, but that was big for me. Today, I'm usually in the 80s and trying to get to scratch. We'll see about that. Starting out, you're a beginner or novice, or a high handicapper. You're a golfer that's regularly hitting 100 plus. A lot of the time, it can spiral into 120 very quickly. You've got so much going on. You're new, learning things like the rules, etiquette, swing, and so much more. You're starting to develop some consistency and learning the game. It's so much to learn, but eventually you'll get there. You're occasionally golfing, most likely less than 12 times a year. As you learn, you'll get to be an intermediate or mid-handicapper. That's a 10 to 28 handicap, which would be around 82 to 100 or so. That means you're getting there. You're still having some trouble, but you're building consistency in the game and your swing. You're learning the game, you're making better decisions, and learning some course management. This helps you score better and likely enjoy the game more, improving into the 80s and 90s, which is great. It's definitely better than most. You've become an occasional or casual golfer, which I would say is anywhere from 12 to 20 times a year. As you progress more, you become a skilled or low handicapper. Generally, you're less than a 10 handicap and shoot around 82. You've gotten really good. You're now highly skilled, you practice everything, and you understand the main concepts of the game and how to play it well. You may still have a few bad shots like everybody does, but you're also able to recover regularly. That puts you down as shooting in the 70s to low 80s. You become a casual or sporty golfer, anywhere from 20 to 40 times a year. After that, you become an exceptional or a scratch golfer. That's where I'm trying to get. You're at or near par and an exceptional golfer who can regularly shoot even par. You get to the point of being a sporty or avid golfer, going out 40 to 50 times a year most likely. And finally, something most of us will never be, the pro or plus handicapper. At this point, you are at or better than par. We all know your name because you're on the tour. This is what we may think about in our dreams and tell people we could do it, but this takes a special person with crazy work ethic and a mentality to get there. Please reach out if you are a pro and watching this. I'd love to pick your brain and get my ass kicked by you. Pro golfers are always practicing or playing. So again, the occasional, less than 12 times a year, casual 12 to 20, sporty 20 to 40, avid 40 to 50. So where are you right now? If I had to put a number on myself, I'm going to say I'm a mid-handicapper. Yes, I can shoot lower, but my biggest issue is up here in my head. There's times I completely implode, and that's what I'm working on to get better at. We can take that journey together. Why am I sharing my journey though? Why does it matter to me? And why do I want to help you? I started this channel in 2025 with one goal in mind, sharing what I've learned to help you get better faster. After 14 years away from the game, I'm back, and my goal this year is to help 1,000 golfers get better in 2026. After golfing in high school, I got frustrated because I never progressed well. I never had that person to help me really dial it in. Well, today, I've worked my butt off to get better, and I want to make it easier for you and be a person you can rely on to help you get better. I believe that hitting a specific shot is 50% mental picture, 40% setup, and 10% swing. No, that's not me, that's Jack Nicklaus. It's not the club, it's not your swing usually, it's your head and the setup. What does that mean? Well, here it is. It means that we blame a lot of different things in golf, but what it generally comes down to are the basics. Having a clear head and few thoughts, and our setup. If you have a good pre-shot routine and setup, you're setting yourself up for success. So how do we do that? The grip is huge, but you need the right one for you, whether it's strong, weak, or neutral, overlapped, interlocked, or baseball. Find what works for you and for your swing. Set up the same way every time. And remember that when you're holding the club, you're holding it in your fingertips with a light grip, 3 to 4 on a 1 to 10 scale. Pretend that you're holding an open tube of toothpaste in your hands. You don't want to drop it, but you also don't want to squeeze any out. As far as ball positioning, you can take a look at the image I'm popping up and see where in theory your feet should be and where the ball should be for different clubs. Generally, the shorter the club, the further back the ball and more narrow the stance. The longer the club, the further forward and wider. One exception is if you play single length irons like I do. I switch to them so that my 4-iron through pitching wedge can all be played from the same spot. The basics are woods, forward and wide, irons, center and shoulder width, wedges, back and narrow. Alignment is another huge problem for a lot of people. They think they're aiming correctly and the ball goes dead straight but in the wrong direction. When you step up, pick a target and look at it. Set the club face to it, set your feet up, get your grip, pick a target on the ground in line with it, get the V in your arms, and make sure to keep your shoulders square. I had a huge problem when I grabbed the club with my trail arm that I would roll my shoulder with it. That opened me up and ended up causing an out-to-in swing or a slice, going at a target I didn't want to, but my body was facing. If you fix nothing else today, fix this. You swing your best when you have the fewest things to think about. Again, not me, that's Bobby Jones. Be smart and let things go. Stop overthinking. Clear your head so that you can just play. Don't worry about other players or equipment, and focus on the course, your ball, and yourself. So now let's talk about concepts and positioning. When you swing, you should only have one thought at most. That thought can depend on the day and what you've been working on recently. But that doesn't mean to overthink. That means when you set up and think smooth or tempo, not straight back, rise up, hip rotation, drop the club, exploding up. You just want one thing. Let your body do the rest. Let's do a little bit of storyline for a minute. The year's 2008. It's a warm spring day, the sun is shining, no wind, and it's a beautiful day at Sunset Valley Golf Course, New Jersey. 18-year-old Doug is off the bus and warming up on the practice green in one of the first rounds of senior season. No goal, no plan, just putting. After a few minutes, it's time to tee off with group one. A few guys tee off from the other school and then I'm up. Hole one's fairly straight and open, downhill par 4 that ranges from 340 to 380 depending on the tee. It's playing 355 today. I haven't stretched or warmed up. Have not taken a single swing to get myself into gear. Tee the ball, take a few practice swings, think about my setup, grip, arm angles, turning my upper body, and about 15 different things. You will never guess where the ball went. To the green, right? Well, if you count the tee box as green, sure. I literally had so many things going on in my head and I took such a huge swing that I missed the ball and the wind from the club passing knocked it off the tee. That was something that happened or something like it often as a high school golfer. I continually struggled to stop thinking about everything and just swing. I wish I had someone at the time tell me just to play golf and stop thinking. I was an alright golfer, but I could have been so much better. Tempo is very important as well, more so because it gets you into a groove and gaining muscle memory. Generally, you can go with either a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 tempo in your swing. That means 1 or 2 second backswing, 1 second swing. I'm normally a 1-to-1 because it helps me build up speed and torque, but when I was starting to golf, I would go 2-to-1, and sometimes I slow it down now too. Until you really get a feel for the swing, that's where you should go, 2-to-1. I'm also a bit odd. I play music in my head throughout the course. It helps me stay calm. From the time I pick my target until the hold after my follow through, I'm usually either hearing or humming Take Me Home Country Roads in my head. It forces me to not think about anything else and just focus on what I'm doing. This will matter even more when we talk about irons versus driver in a little bit. The bigger they are, the harder they are to hit. That is actually a Doug with Golf Reboot quote. The driver was my least favorite club for a long time. Now I love the thing. I've learned how to make it a real weapon, but it took me a very long time to figure it out. The longer the club, the more difficult it can be to control. So driver and woods versus iron. Let's get into the setup. Driver versus woods versus irons versus wedges. The wrists are very important. They need to move, but do certain things. For irons, you want them ahead of the ball and forward so you get good compression. For the driver, you want them back so that you can snap through and hit the ball on the upswing. Shoulders can be odd, but generally they should be flat with the irons to allow coming down on the ball, and with the driver, the trail shoulder should be slightly lower without turning your torso to allow hitting up on the ball. Ball positioning we touched on before, but it's forward for the driver, back for the wedges, and the rest fit somewhere in between. Scoot back in the video, you'll be able to see all that. As you change clubs, the trail foot position and the distance changes as well. With a driver, the trail foot is further from the lead and slightly backwards. With the wedges, the feet are much closer, and the trail could be slightly inwards of the lead. That's all because of the length of the clubs. The driver's longer, wedges are shorter, so you have to adjust. You're more open with your feet with the shorter, and you're closed more with the longer. It helps me to control my club path. I have a tougher time not going out to in with the driver, so I adjust accordingly. Woods are somewhere in between the driver and the irons. Usually I'm pretty close to where my driver would be, a little bit further back though. Usually players are good with long or short and struggle in the middle and switching between. A lot of the time it's one or the other. In high school I was pretty solid 4-iron through pitching wedge. Today I tend to struggle a lot more with the 3-iron, and I really don't use it that much anymore. Even my 4-iron I really don't use except for time to time. Woods tend to show error a lot more pronounced because of the length of them. Since they're longer and lighter, you can also move them faster, and with that speed comes the risk of doing something wrong. When you do that at a faster speed, it can push the ball much further off track. Make sure your face is positioned well. The opening and closing of the face is in the wrists. Like I said earlier, a super tight grip can ruin you because the face can't get into the right spot. Show me a man that hits full wedge shots. I want to play him for money. That's Ben Hogan. Sure, maybe once in a while, but I play a 54, 60, and 69 degree wedge. I mainly take half swings with my different grip spots to control distance. Here and there I'll take a full because I know my 54 goes about 110, the 60 goes 80 to 90, and my 69 goes 50 to 60 yards with a full swing, but it's rare. Chipping is hugely important. 50 and in, and especially just off the green, can save you. I focus on this and it's changed my game. That's how I got through high school golf. Try to get your shot within 10 feet. That'll give you a max 2-putt in theory, and a possible 1-putt. It saves strokes. If you're further out, aim at the center of the green to the fat area. It's safer and helps to get that 2-putt. Gap with either the 9, 10:30, and 12 o'clock swing or my grip method. For the clock method, I used to use this, but it can be tough under pressure because you have to remember how far back your arms are going, all that type of thing. The grip method, it's the same swing every time. Your grip is high, mid, or low on the grip. That's what controls the distance because it's always a 9 o'clock swing. Do this with all your wedges. No carry and roll out, which is controlled by the spin in the loft. It may seem obnoxious, but it's easier, especially to do with my MLM2 Pro that I have right here. It's really helped me lock that in. More spin with higher loft, less with lower. Each of these has their place depending on the circumstances. Now, ball placement for shot height. You're going to generally go back further for a lower shot that might roll out more, and forward for a higher shot that's going to stop and possibly spin back. It definitely can also affect the rollout and the spin. As far as putting, you have to be close with your first. Learn to lag putt. That saved me along with my chipping in high school. Consistent 2s is better than a few 1s and then a whole lot of 3s and 4s. 3s and 4s are what killed your game. I did not have a single 4-putt last year. Putt gapping has also been amazing for me. How do you do it? We're going to talk about it more later, but you basically take a yardstick and you figure out your 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 foot putts, whatever you want to do. You figure out how far back on the yardstick you have to go backwards and through for that to be a putt. You can even do this in your living room on carpet. You're going to have the same swing speed each time, and it's all about the distance of the backswing and follow through. You obviously can't have a yardstick out on the course, but once you get used to it, gauge it with your putter so you know the distances. You can use the club head as a gauge since you can't measure it on the course. Now, how to adjust that on the course? You take these distances to the practice green and gauge if it's faster or slower than your baseline and adjust it. So if your normal 5 foot goes flying past the hole, that means it's faster of a green. If it ends before the hole, it's slower. So give it a little bit more or a little bit less. How to adjust for slopes. Hit slopes the same way and gauge the effect compared to your baseline. Find the right style stroke for you and then find a putter that fits that. Standard, arm lock, zero torque, extended, broomstick, blade, mallet, doesn't matter, it's all about you. I'm generally a straight line person as opposed to an arc putt. Either's fine with consistency and the correct putter. I'm currently using the Odyssey Jailbird AI1 Cruiser. It's an extended 38-inch mallet putter. I use a modified interlock grip and occasionally do a bit of wrist or arm lock with it. Wasted strokes are the score killers. Golfers focusing too much on the long game and not the short game can waste a ton of strokes. Thinking too much about things you can't control is another no-no. Bad chipping and putting mechanics can make you fall apart fast if you can't hole it. A bad chip to another chip to a 3-putt can be a 5 from 50 yards out. Plus, however many strokes it took to get there. Poor putter gapping, wedge gapping, and control is a big problem. Guessing is not the way to go. Put in the time and the effort. When you have a lot of confidence and you feel like nobody can beat you, it's game over for everyone else. Jason Day. You need to believe in yourself. If you have no confidence, you're never going to get better. Learn to club gap. It's not the point right now, but it's important. You need it to know what to hit. Club length, roll, conditions, dispersion. Check for danger. Water, sand, OB, woods, and other risks. The middle of the green. Aim for the fat part of the green. You're less likely to get in trouble. If it's far, lay up. Off the sides or over it can be bad. Lay up if that'll be a risk and it'll be easier to get on. It's easier to lay up to 50 to 70 yards and chip. It's harder to stick it with a wood if you're at 240-ish. Pros can usually have a better shot at this, but you are not a pro. Don't be a hero. Play safe. When there's trouble, save strokes and be smart. Small greens, chip on to get closer. Tight areas, hit a stinger or lay up. In bad weather, wind and clubs with high flight or less control don't mix. Following a blow-up hole. Tee with your best club. Like I said before, sometimes for me that means my 7-iron. Now, as far as blow-up holes, you need to play smart. You need to calm down and get over it. Relax and take a breath. Play the Country Roads Take Me Home theme song in your head. Let go of bad shots. The next shot is more important than your last. You need to learn to get over it so that you can keep playing and enjoy. This alone can save you 5 to 10 strokes in a round. If you're enjoying this video right now, we still have our beta testing going on. That's gonna end soon. But if you go to golfreboot.com/beta, you can get more than just the workbook that goes along with this. You can get a full training program that we're testing out right now that'll help you get better faster. So go to golfreboot.com/beta, check it out. You can sign up for it. We'll send you an email, and then you can get a full program that'll go along with this to help you learn golf faster. There are no shortcuts on the quest for perfection, Ben Hogan. But there is a smart way and the wrong way. Luckily, I have the Rapsodo and the GIF. It's given me the chance to play whenever in any weather. The GIF and Rapsodo have been great for me because it gives me this area where it's nice and warm even though it's cold outside. I can play courses, I can go to the range, I can track all of my data, I can do closest to the pin, I can do speed training, I can do a target range, combines, all different things. There's different data. There's things like angle of attack that I can look at and see what's going on with my swing. And once you know that stuff, you can really dig in and figure out where your problems are. There's all different data. Pick one piece and work on it, whether that's path, angle of attack, or whatever else you want. Data is there along with swing videos and impact. It's really helped me to solve the issues that I've had over the years. It has changed my game. The GIF is always here for me. It's literally outside my back door. It's in my garage. I'm out here daily, whether it's just for a quick 10-minute speed session or for hours golfing and hitting the range. It has really changed things for me, and I think it could help you too. There is an initial investment. Obviously, you might need a launch monitor or anything like that, but after that, there's no huge fees other than the annual fee. They have a lifetime option, which that'll save you money. It's got 33,000 courses that are available. You can save money on buckets of balls at the range and have a true ball. You don't need to use those range balls that don't do what you actually expect them to. I have a bunch, but the initial 3 bowls lasted me an entire year, and that's with Rapsodo. That's basically less than a round for most of us, and sometimes on one hole we've all been there. You can do it at home. It saves time and money. It cost me under $2,000 all in, and there's a whole video on that if you want to check it out. If you want to learn more about Rapsodo, you can go to golfreboot.com/brands and click the link for Rapsodo. They have all kinds of stuff. And you can also go to playbetter.com/golfreboot to start setting up your home sim. The range is fine too. Most of us go to the range. Range balls and floaters will let you hit and see the path, but they're usually garbage and they don't fly right. They're limited flight. They may knuckle, especially as they start getting older. And with the limited distance, you're not going to get true distances and be able to lock in your club gapping. A lot of golf courses have a short game and a practice area. Find one of those to practice at, even if it's just a local pitch and putt. We have a par 3 near me, and that's been great for me. But the range is for mechanics and consistency to help you fix, learn, and get reps in. The course is to test and for strategy, and obviously to play. It shows you how you're doing. So that's why I built the GIF, because I can do both at the same time. But while we're talking about that, there's 2 different types of practicing. There's block and there's random. Block is using the same club, same target. Should aim for that about 30% of the time. It's to fix an issue or test theories. Random is changing like you would on a course. It's for course strategy. The biggest thing, you always want to set your target. So now we're moving on to practicing by skill level. For a high handicapper, you're focusing on the mechanics, figuring out the swing, stay slow and consistent. Once you get to a mid handicapper, still mechanics, adding a little bit of speed. Focus on your consistency, then build the speed. As you start getting to a low handicapper, you're fine tuning your mental game, your speed, tweaking things, higher speed and stronger mentally. As you get to scratch, you're obviously getting very good. You're adjusting and advancing. You're learning to adjust as needed on the course and fixing it up better than before. And then once you're a pro, which none of us are, you're doing tweaks, you're practicing, you're a pro. It's your job. In a minute, I'm going to show you how long you actually need to practice for. No matter how good you are, you can always get better, and that's the fun part. That is Mr. Tiger Woods. There's no such thing as perfection in golf. It's up and down, good days and bad. It's about getting past the bad to get to the next good day. Every day on the golf course can be a good day if you look at it the right way. We're all busy. I don't have time, but I find it. When I started back up in 2024, I was in a period of my life that was full of stress. I learned that golf helps to calm me down. Now in high school, that was not the case. At the time, I was working my normal full-time job in technology, working for myself in my landscape business that has turned into another full-time job, and was causing all kinds of stress trying to get everything done and operating. On top of that, I was in my 18th year as a volunteer firefighter, which when most people think of volunteer, they assume there isn't stress, but there's a ton of time and stress involved. And then I made the decision to add even more by starting the Golf Reboot YouTube channel. Honestly, this was one of the best things I did because it's helping me to help others, which is something I always try to do. Now, I'm not saying all this so that you feel sorry for me. I'm going through it so that you know you are not alone. There's a lot of pieces to my life, and that doesn't even get into the family side of things, which is obviously the top priority. Every single aspect of our lives has its place, but you have to enjoy life too. With all of the things pulling at me throughout the week, I still manage to practice a few times, and I play on weekends when I can, or on vacation days. It may not be going out to an actual course or the range, but I at least spend a good chunk of downtime in the GIF, which is my do-it-yourself home golf simulator for anybody who hasn't heard about that place before. I am sure you all have. And honestly, some days I just go out there to de-stress and hit stuff. And that golf time is separate from the time I spend golfing and recording and scripting and editing these videos. Golfing is my time. Making videos on YouTube is for you. Yes, this can be stressful too. Trying to find a way for you guys to see my videos and wonder if I'm actually making a difference. But I find it fun. You can find 30 to 60 minutes 3 to 4 times a week to get better. Weekends are for fun. Go golfing or go to the range to have the fun. The whole goal of golf, unless you are a pro, because if you are a pro, you probably wouldn't be watching me. Now, if you are a pro, please comment below. I'd love to talk to you. But the whole point of golf is to relax and have fun. Now, I've had plenty of non-relaxing rounds, but I've grown from that. If you want to get good, though, you'll have to spend some time practicing. It's the only way. Luck only takes you so far. And we all know some lucky golfers. So it doesn't really take much effort at all to practice chipping and putting at home. Just get some foam balls if you don't want to make a home sim. But consistency in practice is way more important than intensity. Sure, if you do speed training, that can be intense, but we aren't there yet. Worry about the basics. And hitting 500 balls one day is great, but it can hurt you too, especially if you don't hit again for 2 weeks. So you'd be better off and see more progress by hitting 50 balls a day consistently than hitting a ton one day and then letting your clubs and skills get dusty. Consistency is where you'll start getting better. If you fix something and don't keep on it, you're going to lose it. Your body needs to build the muscle memory, but eventually you'll have it. It's more like going to the gym than riding a bicycle. If you stop, you're going to lose it. So don't stop. If a lot of people gripped a knife and fork the way they do a golf club, they'd starve to death. Sam Snead. Be one with the club. You need to be solid, but loose physically and mentally on the course. It's a difficult concept to comprehend, and it took me a really long time to figure this out. But it's basically just knowing your stuff and what you need to do. But I struggled for years, still do sometimes, with handling bad shots. So now I try to let them go, and it's changed the way I play. No thoughts. The more thoughts floating through your head before you swing, the worse off you're going to be. I don't take a practice swing. I hate practice swings. But if you're taking one to loosen, that's cool. If you take a bunch, what you're actually doing is tightening yourself up, and your mind is noticing things that you're doing wrong. So you're setting yourself up for a bad shot. For me, it's pre-shot routine and smooth. Go. It's got to be simple and quick. Take a breath and do what you know how to do. Like I said before, none of us most likely are going to go pro, but we can be better than we are right now. I want to get to scratch. Who knows if that'll ever happen? Here's the way I look at it. I try to get a little better every day. If you improve at something by 1% every day, you will see a 37-time improvement in a year. That's my goal in all aspects of my life. It can make a significant difference. Know that mistakes are bad and bad shots happen. They happen to everyone, including the pros. But the difference is they know how to move on and recover. That's what golf is, a game of recovery. If you figure out recovering, it'll help your scores. So we need to learn to take a breath and get over it. In the grand scheme of things, that shot doesn't actually matter. As far as the long-term mental game, check out some stuff by Dr. Bob Rotella. I love his stuff. I've probably mentioned him a few times at this point, but that's because he's real. I've changed a lot about the way I look at the game and life based on his books, and I listen to the audio and other videos I've watched of him. If you're caught on a golf course during a storm, hold up a 1-iron. Not even God can hit a 1-iron. Lee Trevino. I hit one when my driver had that 175-yard shot with a 50-yard slice for a bit. It was interesting to say the least. It's literally a chunk of metal on a stick. Now that I can hit my driver, I will never touch one again in my life, and I'm enjoying the tee box much more. On a serious note, storms are dangerous. There were a few deaths around us in North Jersey last year on courses during storms. Know the weather, and if you need to go in, go in. If you hear thunder, see lightning, go in. Even if the marshal doesn't come out, it's better to go in and go home and be safe than to not go home. And our thoughts go out to the families and friends of those who got lost out on the courses last year. It's a terrible tragedy, and we all need to do better. But now let's talk a little bit about the equipment itself. Shafts are something that often get overlooked, but they play a major part. There's 4 major styles of shafts: stiff, standard, senior, and lady flex. The difference is just the stiffness, realistically, sometimes the weight. Ladies and senior can be a similar and have the most flex. Standard is the middle of the road, and stiff is for players with a faster swing speed. Sometimes you'll see really fast swing speeds that have a super stiff. So having the right shaft for your speed is huge. If you have too fast of a swing and too weak of a shaft, you're going to struggle with club face control. We've talked about that before. It's huge. If it's too stiff, you'll have issues with good contact. Most beginners should start with standard. If you're younger, there's also junior flex, which you can get into that too. But when we get more into irons, there's 2 main kinds of irons. You have blades and cavity back, which can also be called game improvement. Blades are commonly used by pros and low handicappers and are notoriously harder to hit and less forgiving for avid golfers like us. And recently, I was just reading that Rory is in the process of switching over to more of a cavity back design to get a little bit more forgiveness. So if he's doing that, why aren't we? But I actually play a set of Pinhawk single-length cavity back irons 4 through pitching wedge. I love them because it lets me set up in the same spot every time. I think that's something else that's worth looking into. Game improvement sets are another name you may hear with cavity backs. It's basically just got a bit larger of a face than a blade, may have a bit more offset of the shaft, and it can give you more forgiveness. I have no issue with people using game improvements. It makes the game more fun. So there's all different models of clubs, and inside that, other options. For example, I just bought the Callaway Elite driver. I tested out the Triple Diamond, the Standard, and the X models of it. I honestly went in wanting the Triple Diamond because it's cool, but I got the X because it was better suited for my game. I also got it with a stiff shaft that was weighted at 60 grams instead of the standard 50. It's the club that works best with my swing. It never hurts to test things out. But we all know lofts and lies can be very confusing. For the most part, you don't have to worry about that right now. The biggest thing to know is that if a brand says you hit their 7-iron further than another brand, it's more likely than not because they use a different loft. A 35-degree 7-iron will hit the ball further than a 38-degree. It will also not fly as high. So sometimes brands will do that to sell their clubs, saying that they hit further, when it's really just a different club, which is fine, but it's all about knowing. Once we get to balls, they don't necessarily matter at first, but there's a certain point where they do. This is where swing speed really comes into play. With a slower swing speed, you can use a variety of different balls and not need a premium style like the Titleist Pro V1. The differences are the amount of layers of a ball and the type of shell material. Cheaper balls are made with a Surlyn because it's cheaper and a harder material. Premium balls generally have more layers and have an outer layer of urethane elastomer. This helps them to have a softer feel and explode more off of the club face. But here's where swing speed comes in. Once you're above about 95 miles an hour with the driver, give or take, you need more of a premium ball. I've seen it myself. When I try to use something like a Super Soft or the Amazon Basics ball, I just don't get the feel and control. If your speed is under that, the Surlyn balls are okay for you. It's all about how the club impacts the ball and how it flies off. When it comes down to the layers of the ball, it really depends on what you need. Different layers of different materials will help the ball fly certain ways. For example, a range ball or a floater will likely only have 2 layers, the outer layer and one inner, and the outer layer is going to be made of Surlyn. They're also set up differently to try to reduce flight so that not all the balls are going into the woods. It makes it easier for them to clean them up. You wouldn't want to use one of those on the course because it isn't a quality ball. But generally, more premium balls are more controllable, especially around the green for short game. This is because of how they're made and they have a bit more of a soft covering. So I really do enjoy the Pro V1 because of its feel with all of the clubs, but especially my wedges. Something you can do once you have good mechanics is get a fitting. A fitting with a professional fitter is when they take all of the information we just talked about and find the right club, shaft, loft, lie, and even ball for your swing. They can even check your grip size. You could go from a standard all the way up to a jumbo. This can help you a lot as opposed to just picking up a random set of clubs. Don't be too proud to take a lesson. I'm not. That's Jack Nicklaus. But I agree. I've said before that you don't need to get lessons to get better, which I do fully believe. I've never taken a lesson, but I also spend a lot of time digging into mechanics. Lessons are not a bad thing. If you want to get one, find someone who knows what they're talking about because they'll likely pick up small things you can fix. So let's start wrapping up. But before we do that, let me say something that most golf videos won't say. Golf is overwhelming when you're new. You go to YouTube, you search how to fix my slice, then how to hit irons, then how to chip, then why do I suck at putting? And you end up with 20 different swing thoughts. You try to fix everything at once, but that's exactly why nothing ever improves. So today, I'm doing something different. This is the complete beginner guide with your clubs from the tee to the green. We did a series on this before, but this is going to be built into our training program. Every club, every major concept in order. By the end of this video, you'll understand what each club is designed to do. Know how to set up correctly. Stop making the most common beginner mistakes. Have a simple system you can take to the course. And here's the key. We're not building a perfect swing. We're building a repeatable system. Stay with me because around the middle of this video, I'm going to show you the one scoring area that drops strokes faster than anything else. Let's reboot our golf game. If your round feels stressful before you even hit your second shot, it's probably your driver. Most beginners think the driver is about distance, but it's not. It's about starting the hole in play. So if we fix your setup and sequencing, your entire round gets easier. The real driver problem. Most beginners swing too hard, try to guide it, or try to fix things mid-round. But when you start thinking during your swing, your body tightens and your mechanics fall apart. So we need to build a repeatable swing routine instead. Your grip, interlock, overlap, or baseball. Use what's comfortable. But if your grip's weak, your face is going to stay open and you're probably going to slice it. So let's fix that. So we're going to rotate both hands slightly stronger. You want to see 2 to 3 knuckles on the lead hand. This alone fixes thousands of slices. In a minute, I'm going to show you the arm structure that makes that grip even more powerful. So with your lead arm, rotate your shoulder in, elbow slightly away. Trail arm, shoulder out, elbow in. This creates width. Width is good and it helps create a wider swing path, and wider swing allows for more club speed. But if your arms collapse, your club gets steeper and over the top. So we need to maintain that V shape. Practice swings without the ball first. Now, as far as your stance and ball position, the ball is at your lead heel, spine tilted slightly away, 60% weight on the trail side. But if you set up like an iron, you hit down on the ball and lose distance. So with the driver, upward strike. The whole setup is to get you there. Now, as far as tempo and sequencing, a fast takeaway to parallel. Slow to the top, drop into the slot, explode through. But speed doesn't come from muscle, it comes from sequencing. So practice at 70% and build speed later. Once your driver's in play, what's the next mistake beginners make? Trying to smash their woods. Let's fix that. If you top your 3-wood or hit low bullets that go nowhere, it's not strength, it's contact. The big mistake, most beginners hit woods like irons, but woods are designed to sweep, so the setup must change. So what's the setup fix? Ball is just forward of center, somewhere between the center of your stance and where your driver gets set up. The trail shoulder could be slightly lower, weight slightly on the trail side. If the ball's back, you're going to chop down on it and top it. Your swing feel should be brushed through, don't hit at it. But if you muscle it, you're going to lose center contact. One great drill for this is keeping your feet together and taking swings that way. It causes you to rely on your balance. Now remember, we're sweeping it, little divot maybe. We're not like an iron where we're trying to compress. Later when we get to irons, you'll see why this sweeping motion is the opposite of iron contact. That's where most golfers get confused. If your irons feel inconsistent, it's because you're trying to help the ball into the air. But irons are built to launch, so you must strike down. What are irons designed to do? They're designed to hit the ball first, ground second. Compression creates the height. Height is what helps get you the distance. Common beginner mistakes, trying to lift the ball, keeping the ball too far forward, keeping your weight back, swinging too hard. Lifting adds loft and reduces the compression, so lean slightly forward so that you're going down on the ball at impact. For ball positioning, with short irons, you want to be basically right in the middle. Mid irons, a little bit forward. Long irons, one ball forward of center. Your weight should be slightly to the lead side. I'd call it 60 lead, 40 trail. A drill you can do, tee behind the ball. Place a tee 2 inches behind the ball. If you hit the tee, you're not doing what you need to. You need to train your low point. The low point needs to be past the ball. Once you start hitting the greens, you are still going to miss some. That's where wedges can change everything. Wedges have really taken my game to another level. If you want to break 100, wedges are where that can happen. Why do wedges matter? Inside of 80 yards, you're in the scoring zone, but most beginners swing their wedges full. So distance control disappears. A full swing, you're trying to control distance based on the speed. Keep your speed the same and do wedges different. With the setup, your ball's slightly back, 60 to 70% of weight forward, and your hands slightly ahead. Use the bounce concept. The bounce prevents digging, but excessive shaft lean removes the bounce. So let the club glide. Distance control. Hip high, chest high, shoulders high, and track yardages. For wedges, there's 2 different ways of thinking about it. Some people will take a 9 o'clock, 10:30, or a full swing and go through. I always take a 9 o'clock swing. With my wedges, I have a 54, 60, and a 69. I take 3 different grips. High on the grip, mid, and low down at the bottom. With that, I take a 9 o'clock swing no matter what. 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That gives me a little bit of change between the different grips where I know how far it's going to go. The different wedges also give me different distances. They give me different heights, they give me different distances, they give me different rolls. If I want something really high and short, 69 degree. If I want something that stays lower and runs more, 54 degree. It's all about gapping. Play around, figure that stuff out. Try the 9 o'clock method with the different grips. I think it could work for you. Now a drill for this. Take that tee from before, put it 2 to 3 inches ahead of the ball. Strike the ball and then the tee. This trains forward contact. It also shows you using the bounce to get the ball in the air. Even with good wedges, you can still land in the bunkers. Let's get rid of that fear. If bunker shots scare you, it's because you're trying to hit the ball. But bunker shots use sand, so try to hit the sand first. So you're set up in the sand. You want an open stance with the ball forward. Your weight's forward, you're opening your face. That's going to let you get where you want to. Your entry point is 1 to 2 inches behind the ball. If you're too far back, you're going to chunk it. Too close, you're going to blade it. Your swing thought should be splash the sand. Commit and never decelerate. That's what you need to do. Now, one thing I learned when I started golfing, pretend there's a dollar bill underneath the golf ball. You want to hit the sand at the back of the dollar bill and come out in front of the dollar bill. That's going to help you use the sand to lift the ball. You're not actually hitting the ball with the club. The sand is doing the work. You're moving the sand. Now, once you're on the green, everything comes down to this final piece, putting. You don't need longer drives. You need fewer 3-putts. The two real problems, start line and speed control, but most golfers blame the stroke. That's not true. We need to fix alignment first. Your setup, your eyes are over the ball is slightly forward, and your wrists are staying quiet. The stroke, your shoulders are rocking. You can use a 2-to-1 tempo, or sometimes I'll use a 1-to-1. The face needs to be square. Face angle is 85% of start direction. Speed control, you can do the ladder drill. You can do putter gapping, which I've talked about, the gate drill, and chalk line. With green reading, you need to find the low point. Read from both sides and figure out your pace first and go from there. You can use my putter gapping method, which is where I use a yardstick in my house, in my garage, to test out how far my backswing and follow through need to go for different length putts. Once I get onto the course, I'll go to the practice green, use those known distances to read those greens. If my normal 5-foot putt is only going 3, that means I need to add maybe another ½ inch to my backswing. If it's going too far, I need to cut some off. What that does, it lets me get a feel for the green, and my body will know what I need to do to hit those distances. From there, everything becomes simpler. Golf feels hard because we try to fix everything at the same time. But when you do it in order, everything becomes simpler. Get the driver in play. Make clean contact with the woods. With the irons, hit the ball first. With your wedges, know your distance control. In the bunkers, hit the sand. With putting, your start line and speed. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be repeatable. And if you implement even 30% of this, your next round will feel different. If you want to go deeper into any section, I've got individual videos breaking them down even further. And if this helped you, don't forget to subscribe, because this channel exists for one reason: to help new golfers stop feeling overwhelmed and to start enjoying the game again. Let's remember the 3 core principles in golf. Consistency. It's important, and that's how you get better. You need consistency in dispersion, distance, and mechanics to play better, or you will never know where you're hitting the ball. Conviction in continually pushing yourself to get a little bit better. If you don't believe in yourself, you will never succeed. And confidence on the course. You've put in the time and the effort. You can do it. You just have to relax and actually do it. I'm not big on self-worth and propping myself up, honestly. But we need to all encourage ourselves. We put in the work to get better. We know how to swing. So just stop thinking and do what you know how to do. But anyone can get better at golf. I got better in high school, and then I stopped for 14 years without touching a club. In 2024, I started from 0, and I got significantly better now that I'm back. You can do it too. So going forwards, what steps should you take to hold yourself accountable? Well, we can help you with that. Make sure you save this video to come back to in the future as you start learning. You'll start to pick up more small tidbits over time. Subscribe and become part of the Golf Reboot family, and we will continue to help you as time goes on. Reach out or comment with any questions you have. Download our free practice guide. Just comment guide below and we'll send you the link. And make sure to practice with the free class we're using in beta right now. Let us know what you thought of this video. Did it help you? Comment down below. With all the information, it can become overwhelming. It's really important as a new golfer to not fall down and get trapped with the common mistakes and too much information. So if you want a step-by-step guide to get you through your rounds, we made a series of videos about that. It'll be popping up on the screen. It's our From the Tee to the Green series on everything from your tee shot to the final putt. It's full of things I wish I knew when I started in 2004. And don't forget to subscribe so you see the rest of our videos and become part of the Golf Reboot family so that together we can play better, have more fun, and love the game again. See you next time.